Okay, I'm Katie. This is section 2 of the interview. And we'll start with high school. What were your favorite and least favorite subjects in high school?
Math was my least favorite.
I think that runs in the family.
And I liked the science. We had general science. That was new to me because you younger people have science in grade school, which we never did. So it was a complete different ball game to have science in high school. So that was kind of very interesting.
And what was your confirmation name?
Catherine.
How did you choose it?
I just liked the name Catherine, and I wanted it with a K, and it was not accepted by the Catholic Church. You had to have a C. So it should have been a K, but it is a C. And my mother-in-law's name was Catherine, and it was with a C also. Because that was the only one accepted by the Catholic Church. Now you have all these different saints that you've never heard of before, and they're acceptable.
I think you can even choose, girls can choose boys and boys can choose
Yeah,
girls.
they
can
choose
choose
boys.
boys.
Wow.
It's changed a lot because even our sister Catherine chose
Yes.
Jude for hers.
And I even knew guys in my confirmation class, they chose girls for their patrons.
But you couldn't when I was doing it because I would have chosen St. Martin.
And let's see, was Mary Hibner still your best friend in high school?
She didn't continue.
Okay.
She didn't continue. My good friends in high school were Jerry Wright, Mary Prior, because they lived close by, so those were, we grouped together and went places together. And Jerry Wright, her father worked in the crematory, and we would have football games, and our colors were green and gold, and he would get us the real big mums and live mums that we would take to our football games.
And was it public high school or was it a private?
A public.
Okay. Did you walk there or
Yes.
did you? Okay.
Yes, we walked. It was about a mile.
And your high school was Kensington?
Kensington High School on Suffolk Avenue.
Did you have a big graduation party?
Yes. Big graduation. Just my sisters and brothers and my friends. And just like you do, you go to this party today, another party. Not as big as your parties, but everyone would come, the kids would come in a group and have little sandwiches, and didn't have the snacks you have today, so we just, potato chips were the big thing and pretzels were the big thing.
And what was your favorite dessert growing up?
Apple pie.
Apple pie. Oh.
Because that's what Grandma always made, was apple pie. And would you believe Jell-O? Because Jell-O was, nobody made it. It was expensive, and you only had it every now and then, so Jell-O was. And it was plain Jell-O, no fruit, no nothing. And nothing, it was just Jell-O.
What did it taste like?
It was very good. It probably was a better Jell-O than they make today.
Tastes like horse hooves.
Yeah.
And what did you do after high school?
After high school, I went to work. I worked at the Miller Fillmore Hospital in the nursery. And then my one friend, Julie, she worked at Bemis Bag. They made flower bags and everything, so I went there.
Okay. What did you do in the nursery?
Took care of little infant babies, cleaned them up from birth. Yeah, we fed them, took them out. At that time, they took them to their mothers to be breastfed, so we done that.
Okay.
We weighed them in before we took them to the mothers, and then when they come back, they were weighed again to see if they had gotten enough nourishment.
So I'm sure you've seen very interesting things in the hospital.
Very much. I've seen things that were very frightening.
changed a lot.
It has. Yeah, they had just one little baby there. They called her Lotus Blossom because she was there for a lot of months. And brain damage, and parents didn't take her home. They didn't want her, so she stayed right in the hospital. But we seen the water heads, where the heads were real big. A lot of cliff palates, hair lip. There was a lot of that at that time. And so those were frightening. Thinking, oh my gosh, poor little baby. But look how they've come with hair lip. I mean, they really do repair so beautifully that you don't even know it anymore. That's before it was real scar tissue and looked terrible. But that was the big thing.
How long were you there? How long did you work at the hospital?
Well, I worked there for quite a while, probably 3 years.
What was your hourly rate?
Oh gosh, dear. Probably 75 cents an hour.
And how did you meet our grandfather?
Aunt Julie was going with Uncle Eddie, and they lived right next door. And Grandpa was on leave, and she brought him over because she wanted me to meet him. And that was it. That was the beginning. I just knew him while he was probably a week, because then he had to go back, and he bought me a necklace.
Aww. Do you still have it?
Yes, I do. And it has a little itsy-bitsy diamond in it.
What were the first qualities you noticed about him?
I liked his posture, for one thing. Servicemen are very polite. And he was very handsome.
Did he have any special nicknames for you that you're allowed to tell us?
Sure. Called me Rowie.
Aw.
And I called him Joey.
That's adorable. Were you all able to send letters back and forth when he had to go back?
Yes, but they were delayed because
They were?
you had an APO. So it went to New York or wherever. And when that ship came, went wherever he would be. So maybe it'd be 2 weeks, 3 weeks before he would get a letter.
Do you still have any of those letters?
I have letters upstairs. And they have to be shredded and put away.
And how long did you know him before you guys decided to get married?
He wanted to get married right away. I was still in high school. And then when he went to Brazil, he says, I want you to come to Brazil. I want you to get married here. God, that was unforeseen. My mother never let me even leave Buffalo. And that. No, we knew pretty much basically right away, you know. But then he had to go to Brazil, and we were not engaged, so I still carried on. I still had my boyfriends or male friends, and
You were being courted.
I still was. I wasn't sitting home knitting.
I'm curious about like his family. Like, what did he have siblings? And who were they?
Aunt Julie. I should go down. Aunt Mary. Aunt Sophie. Aunt Estelle. Aunt Julie.
So he had 4 sisters.
No, Yaj was deceased. Yeah, she died.
How do you spell that?
Jadzia.
And then they had Brother Michael that was killed right on Broadway in Panora, going to
What
church.
else?
He was killed going to church services on Broadway in Panora. There was no stoplight at that time.
Wasn't he?
And they were going to October.
13.
October, yeah, he was 13. October services, Rosary.
He was 13.
And that's what great grandma Cabero, I said, he was the one for you. Joe wasn't the one. Should have had Michael.
And what were his parents' names?
Jacob and Catherine.
With a C.
My middle name's with a C. Catherine with a C.
Tell us about your wedding dress. Did you try on many before you found the one?
I tried on maybe 3. And I liked this one because it was all lace down the front. Lace from France. In fact, Aunt Nancy went up in the attic and she pulled it out. You've seen it. Yeah.
Do you remember how much it cost?
$150.
Oh my gosh.
And I paid for it myself. In fact, Grandpa and I paid for our own wedding. Grandma bought the wedding cake, but we paid for the wedding all ourselves. And at that time, you had 3 meals. From church, you went to your banquet hall, and then like at 2 o'clock, there was another lunch, and then your big dinner was 6 o'clock.
And what was your wedding date?
What date? June 4th,
And the year?
49.
And why did you pick June 4th?
I wanted to be a June bride.
Aw.
What was the weather like on your wedding day?
It was beautiful. It was very breezy. The veils were flowing, and
How many bridesmaids did you have?
Aunt Ida and Payday and Grandpa's niece Dorothy. Three attendants.
Did you throw your bouquet?
Yes, I did. But it was always returned. They didn't keep it at that time.
Who caught it? Do you know?
You know, I don't even know who caused it, but the garter was never thrown.
Okay.
The garter they never done. That was too risky. You don't.
What kind of flowers were in the bouquets?
We'll have to look. I'm sure there's roses in there for one thing.
And where did you have your reception?
Was called the German Hall, right on Genesee Street, right across from Schiller Park.
Okay, I think we're going to take a break now. We'll be back after these short messages.